Wednesday, I was having all the arm pain and had to get myself to the hospital. Remember that? Because I was having all the pain. And I told him about the other stent too. And I said, after that first stent, I said I had ended up in the ER because my fingers went numb, my face went numb, and I lost vision.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna punch one of them in the face before it's over.
I am heading home from the hospital. I was there about 4.5 hours, I suppose. Tim slept almost the entire time I was there. They've been giving him some medication that is it's like an antihistamine, but it makes you calm and drowsy, and they've been giving that to him while he was there. I don't think he really needs it, but whatever. Yeah, he does get upset when he explains his whole entire story, which he has to do to every single person that sees him, because no one knows. And even the doctor this morning that saw him, he made it sound like he was gonna get discharged because he was fine. And so Tim had to go through the whole entire thing. He's like, do you even know my history? Do you even know all the things that I've been through? Do you even know why I go to the hospital when I do? And that every single time I've gone in, they find a massive blockage. So finally, the guy, after hearing the whole entire history, was like, okay, well, I'll go talk to your cardiologist and we'll see, we'll go from there. So then hours and hours go by, and discharge orders were never put in, but yet they still weren't letting him eat or drink. So we were like, well, maybe they are going to do something. The nurse in the ER last night was convinced that they would be doing a cath today to see what's going on. But finally, some people came in this afternoon and said that they are going to do a echocardiogram and then also a stress test. But the stress test probably won't take place until tomorrow because it's the weekend and they're kind of short-staffed. So it's going to be a very, very long weekend, exhausting for Tim, I'm sure. But he is getting a lot of rest, so that's probably a good thing. So I'm going to head home. I got to stop at the store on the way home and get something for the kids to eat because they have not had, I gave them food this morning before I left, and they can make some sandwiches for themselves, so it's not like they're going to starve to death, but I'm going to pick up something for dinner for them from the store that I can make, and I'm sure I'll be back up there tomorrow, so I'll make sure that they are set to spend another day at home without me. But they handle their chores and everything on their own, and even my chores, they do all that when I ask them to, so that's nice. So that's it for today. I just got off the phone with Tim, and he is so frustrated. He's supposed to take prescription medications throughout the day at certain times of the day, and he's always been berated every time he's gone to the hospital. Make sure you're taking your pills. Don't miss a single dose. And he's never, ever missed a single dose other than when he's in the hospital. It's like they don't even care. Oh, okay, yeah, okay, we'll get your medications, and then 6 hours later they finally come, or they don't bring all of them, or they only give him one, or they got to check with someone else, or they're not sure what kind of antibiotics he's on because he's still on antibiotics for his infected wrist. I forgot to tell you last week. Was that last week or the week before? I don't remember. So yeah, his wrist, where they went in through for his last stent procedure or cath, it got infected. So he's been on antibiotics this whole time too, like long-term strong antibiotics. Anyway, and then the lady that was giving him his pills, and they keep wanting to give him those ones that make him super sleepy, and I don't know why. But she said since tomorrow's Sunday, they may not even be doing any of these procedures tomorrow either. So they were supposed to do the echocardiogram today, and then tomorrow would be a stress test, and they haven't done either one of them today, and now she's saying that she doesn't think they're going to happen tomorrow either since it's Sunday. Then why are they still keeping him? Why not let him go home and then they can reschedule it? It's very frustrating, and he complained to his doctor even just a week or so ago at his checkup, at his ordinary visit, about his arm pain. And nothing came of that. His doctor was there today in the building and never stopped by to see Tim. We're both like super quickly losing faith in this new doctor and hospital. And I really don't believe it's any better than the one that we came from. They both disregard what he's going through, disregard what he's saying. And every single time he's known that there's been an issue, come to find out he's had a 70 to 90% blockage every single time. But yet again, they want to disregard him and just pretend like it's all in his head, or he's exaggerating things, or he's making it up, or it's just stress, or whatever. Bottom line is he is having arm and chest pain during activity that he was not having before. And it's getting worse because when he first started noticing these things, it was when he was at work and he would walk up a pretty big hill. And it wouldn't happen on the flat surfaces, but now it's happening on the flat surfaces. So that tells me that it's getting worse and they need to figure out why. And also I wanted to mention that his last blood pressure reading just a few minutes ago was 99/66. And when she was talking about his medications that he was supposed to take tonight still, and one of them is losartan, which is a blood pressure medication, and it's one of the ones that was doubled. She's like, I don't think you need another blood pressure medication tonight. Your blood pressure is pretty low. And he tried to tell her, just like he tells everyone, that 99% of the time his blood pressure is really low. It's perfect. In fact, sometimes borderline too low. So why they seem to think the answer to these problems is just to increase his blood pressure medication. It is aggravating, so aggravating. His blood pressure has never been the issue. In fact, before he had open heart surgery, through good eating and exercise and all that stuff, he was able to not have to be on any kind of blood pressure medication at all for a couple of years or more. So he hasn't needed to be on blood pressure medication for a long time, other than now after the surgery. And even now, he probably doesn't really need to be on it. I don't think. Certainly not the strong double dosage that they've got him on, which they put him on a couple weeks ago to try to combat these blood pressure spikes. The blood pressure spikes have nothing to do with his ordinary blood pressure through the day, because normally it is very, very low. The spikes are just out of control and unexpected, just random. And it has nothing to do with medication not being high enough. Tim just called. They injected him with whatever it is they inject him with before the stress test, and they're going to come back in just a few minutes and get him. So surprising, very, very early. Last we heard was that they probably wouldn't do it until Monday. So very surprised and good, happy, glad that they're getting it done first thing this morning. So I'm gonna head up there. Just figured I'd rant a little bit while I'm driving. So our new hospital, new doctor, cardiologist, all that, still have not received Tim's medical records from the old hospital. And it's been over 2 months. So that's aggravating to me because they don't know his history. They don't know what all he's been through other than what he has to continually repeat to them over and over and over again. And it's like they're not really even believing him. I mean, obviously they can see the scars. They know that he's had bypass surgery. But as far as the scar tissue growth and all of that stuff, they don't have any of those records. So why is someone not doing what they need to be doing and getting these medical records? It's been over 2 months since they were requested. It was my understanding that they have 30 days to provide patient medical records when they're requested. So someone needs to, I mean, do I need to be calling around making sure that people are doing their jobs? It's ridiculous. Just waiting. But then I wasn't exactly sure what kind of test they were doing either, because there's some where they'll have you exercise and then you lay down flat and they take pictures. Did they do that? Oh, okay. Was it also recording stuff while you were running or walking? Oh, okay. The stress test did not show anything wrong.
I'm gonna make went through that stress test and offered me a nice soda to cause some nice sugary inflammation in my arteries.
Yeah.
Said that his left atrium was a little bit enlarged, and he doesn't have any regurgitation, so there's no other reason for that left atrium to be enlarged unless there's a little tiny hole. So I'm gonna do some digging.
Okay.
So I hope that by the end of this test that I've helped you. Not,
Yeah.
You know.
Well, that sounds very informative. While initially this lady that was doing the echocardiogram said that she thought his left atrium was slightly enlarged, she did a lot of additional testing to really do a good investigation during the echocardiogram, and the cardiologist said everything looks great, so I guess it's all good there. And since they no longer want to do a cath because they think he's just fine, they're going to discharge him. What? Well, at least I only had one in my hand. Are those potatoes real?
Hey, my carrots are super sweet.
They really are dragging their feet in Fayetteville. It seems that it's pretty.
Yeah.
So he's just going to make sure he keeps walking very regularly and making notes of any little feeling that he feels, because if it is the scar tissue coming back, it will progressively get worse. Yep. We just left the cardiac rehab, his first meeting there, and that was a super informative meeting. We just spent the whole time talking to her, and she's like, you know, we really can't do anything to help you because you're already doing all of this stuff on your own. So she wasn't totally sure why he was even referred to cardiac rehab, other than I think it's standard after a stent, which is funny because his first 2 stents he never was referred to cardiac rehab, but with being in a different hospital system, maybe they're doing things right. But anyway, very, very enlightening conversation. She was intrigued by hearing the entire saga of Tim's heart health stories and all of that, and she said that we are very well educated and we are doing all of our research far more than other people do normally, and that Tim is very in tune to his body and what he's feeling. And so it was a very good conversation, and she had some different ideas for us. So gonna go home and do some more research, but so she doesn't think that he'll actually need to come to cardiac rehab, certainly not right now, especially with his spine stuff going on. So she wants him to get that stuff squared away, and then, you know, possibly do some rehab, but probably not necessary considering how much he is doing on his own at home as far as walking and all of that goes. We ended the week with some horrifically windy days, and Tim's pains are coming on a little bit more frequently. So we are just going to keep tracking them, and once it gets to the point where it is every single time he walks, then he will be going back to the hospital.
Heart rate gets going. I feel it right here. I can feel it through my arm and my fingers.